You're listening to Real Talk Radio 97.5 FM, and I have a very live special event going on, but some really cool friends who are putting on a massive raffle, but also promoting their organization. So I thought I would have them on today as a special opportunity to, one, engage with you, the citizens of Northport and surrounding areas, talk about this massive raffle they have going on that's really going to be a great thing and a great moneymaker for the program, but also other events that they have going on. So I've got two really special people to introduce. And Michael, I'm going to start with you, and I'll let you introduce Pat.
Okay. My name is Michael Alegria. I am the founder and president of the Youth Musical Arts Academy of Northport. We're a brand new nonprofit, less than a year old, looking to enhance music education in our area. And I have here today with me our treasurer and event director, Pat Beffel. And I am so happy to have her here with us. Pat, do you want to say a few things about the organization?
Absolutely. I am thrilled that I met Michael with a phishing email, actually just over a year ago. And it was, well, do you want to do something? And it's like, this is totally me. So I joined the Northport Symphony. We had a gala. And what happened is those of us with the Northport Symphony decided that we really wanted to concentrate on music education for the kids. So Youth Musical Arts Academy is kind of an offshoot from the symphony. And I am so pleased that I was asked to be on the board. And having had my own business in the past, I figured, well, I can do treasurer. And the event director is because I like going out and doing other stuff. So that would be me. And I'm pleased to be part of it. And thanks.
You're very welcome. And Michael, the last time I had you on the show, you were doing other things. Can you talk about your transition from what you were doing before and why you have chosen to go with the Academy?
Sure. So before I started with the Youth Musical Arts Academy, I was the executive director of the Northport Symphony for 5 years. And my focus, I wanted it to be on music education, like Pat said. And that's the biggest reason why I think I moved, because I wanted to get out of the orchestral management side of things and just focus on the education side of things. And with being a former teacher in our well, not a former teacher, but being the former elementary music teacher at Atwater Elementary, and having grown up here, for me, it was all about just being able to provide resources for our community. Because when I grew up here, because I grew up in Northport, there was nothing. And I had to drive all the way to Bradenton to go take private lessons. And the nearest things were always in Sarasota, or you had to go to Venice, or you had to go to Punta Gorda. And with the way that Northport is grown and is still growing, it's time that we have our own resources. So for me, it was about being able to provide more for the kids, and being able to make them the best contributing members to our society and giving them what so many of them need. They just need that place where they belong. And that is what music education does. It gives them that place to where they belong. So right off the bat, after getting just started in May, we started a youth choir, an area youth choir, and this is the first of its kind. And we have students from every single elementary school in Northport. We have some homeschool students, and we also have students that are even at like Taylor Ranch in Venice as well. So they're coming to us. So Northport is starting to get known for that kind of stuff. And we'll be singing, making our debut performance next week.
So I want to hang out here just for a second, because while you talk about the youth elementary choir program, I want to go back to some of your passion for a minute, because I when I interviewed you before, your passion was still there, but I believe that there's something different in this adventure for you. Can you really talk about the meaning behind this on a personal level for you? Because being part of the other, it was part of the norm for you. Now you're kind of reaching out into a new area, and I think it's given you a new energy. Would you agree?
Yes, it definitely has. There is something to say, working for yourself. There you get a different energy, because as being the founder and president of an organization is different from being a CEO of an organization, where it's a very, very different dynamic. But for me personally, it's I wouldn't be who I am today without music education.
Right.
And as someone who grew up growing up here in a single parent home, and having to deal with, I had the trauma of my mother passing away when I was very young, and
Right.
having those experiences without music, I don't think I would have survived, honestly. And the same thing goes for my brother. My brother just finished his master's degree in music composition. So we're both very passionate about it, and it's a way to express ourselves. And for me, having taught in the elementary schools and seeing those kids, those at-risk kids, those kids that and seeing these families, we have a lot of transitional families in Northport, or families that struggle. And I don't think it's quite often shown what it is until you really get into the system. And for me, it was being able to connect with those kids and give them more than what I had, and give them the resources that I didn't have. So I talked earlier about how I didn't, I had to go all the way to Bradenton to take private lessons.
Yep.
As a kid growing up, I had to get a sponsorship in order to pay for them, because that's not something my family could afford when I was in high school. And for me, it was, I really had to find those resources. And now I can be that resource. And mhm.
I, I will say this, is that what I see is you've created a network now for a helping hand up and into music, and really inspiring the younger generation to wrap their arms around music and have an outlet. I had track and cross country. Phil Kegg was my track coach, and I still admire him, and to this day. And I had Mr. Rader, who did things in our elementary school. You are that figure in a lot of these kids' lives now, because we didn't have anything like this prior, and you saw a window of opportunity, and I think it was not that you're taking advantage of it, you're just exploiting it. And I think helping kids into music with a helping hand up, I think everybody should learn more about your organization and the fundraising that you do, and the wit and the whys of the fundraising, because everything you're talking about now is really keeping the youth of our communities involved in music and involved in their community, because there's a lot of community that comes back through the music, isn't there?
Absolutely. There's so many ways to connect the younger generations with the older generations through music. And I think that's a huge thing that we need to connect in especially around here. And it brings, like I said before, music brings people together. It puts you as part of something bigger than yourself. Even just as an audience member listening to music, you're still sharing that joy of that music. You're still sharing that experience with everyone and that human connection. And I think that we need a lot more of that in our society today. And I think the discipline that music offers gives kids a better understanding of teamwork, gives them a better understanding of good things come with time. It teaches them one of the most difficult things that kids these days really lack, which is patience. And that is So you're right. It is a part of being part of the community, just more than outside of, oh, it's cute that those kids are singing, but it's those are kids that are part of my community, and now I can connect with them and get to know them.
Well,
and that's
you brought in kids several times in that sentence.
Mhm.
I know we're going to talk about this later, but I want to hit it real quick. Why is the raffle so important, and why is it so important for people to get involved today?
our Pat, if you want to go ahead.
We decided to have a raffle to raise funds for the Arts Academy, and it's absolutely awesome. There are only 300 tickets being sold, and we have not met goal yet. And we're looking to sell more because every single ticket, they're only $50, which, I mean, when you talk about the chances, it's absolutely phenomenal. But we haven't sold as many as we'd like. We've only sold 75. The drawing's at the end of next week. We'd like to sell at least another 50 more. I mean, if it's 75 now, we're going to have to make up the money because we do have to award $5,000 regardless of how many tickets we sell. But you know, we could
tell the people why. Why is that a rule?
It is the state of Florida with how raffles are set up. If you advertise a raffle where you're going to have a prize, then that is the prize that needs to be awarded. Doesn't matter if you sell one raffle ticket, you sell no raffle tickets. Well, no, if you don't sell any, you won't have to award a prize. If you only sold one raffle ticket for $50, you'd still have to award $5,000. We've sold more than that, but we have not sold enough yet to cover the $5,000. And the chances are really darn good for how many we've sold. Yes, they're excellent. And I know you're going to send us you're going to go on Give Butter and buy a ticket yourself. I know you're going to do that. Maybe you can talk somebody else into doing it as well. But the whole idea is we want to be able to do a summer music camp. We want to be able to do elementary instrumental programs. So we need money to do it. And the raffle at only $50 a ticket, 300 tickets, if we sold all of them, we would have $10,000 over the award amount for the children's programs. And that's what we really like to do.
In between now and the next week, when you do the drawing, what's the date?
December 14th.
December 14th. Now, in between now and December 14th, everybody chip in your family, buy a ticket for $50. Take a chance on winning $5,000. The drawing is on the 14th. The most important part of this is it's a give back to the organization, and you have a lot of supporting casts out there. The different organizations like the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, City of Northport, the Northport Symphony, individuals and other fundraisers that you guys do that are out there. I really want to slide up and talk about what I think is kind of a cool thing is the instrument petting zoo.
So yeah, our instrument petting zoo is and we are very thankful to the city of Northport, who just recently funded our instrument petting zoo, so we don't have to borrow instruments anymore. Whenever we go to events like the Poinsettia Festival, we'll be there this weekend at the Poinsettia Festival, and at our booth, we will have instruments there for kids to come over and they can try them. So it's an instrument petting zoo. So this is a great way for kids to realize, like to get that experience of, oh, I've never played that instrument. And a lot of kids, they don't get that opportunity to be able to play those kinds of instruments, a flute, a trumpet, a trombone, a violin, or a snare drum. And for some of them, they try it, and that'll become a memory that they go, oh, I really liked that. And then when they get old enough, they'll want to be in band or orchestra when they're in middle school.
Well, we did that a couple of months ago, and the children, it was amazing. to see the smiles on their faces. We had some of the band members from the high school who volunteered to help Mr. Alegria. And the kids who were there, the smiles on their faces and playing the instruments. I mean, John, you should have been there to see that because
Fantastic.
they were so enjoying it. It was awesome. And it'll be awesome again in a couple of days on Saturday.
There's nothing like changing the perception of a kid's day when you add an instrument, put it in their hand or put it near them so they can touch it. There's some realization that comes. My granddaughters are 6 and 3, so when Michael brings his guitar in and starts playing, they are mesmerized and they go and watch him. So I know for a fact it's a family changing event when your kid gets involved in music, whether it be choir or playing an instrument. And a lot of times those things overlap. Can you talk about the instrument donations with the Northport Symphony and how that works?
Sure. So we partnered with the Northport Symphony to be able to give instrument donations to middle school students that have played for at least a year and are playing on an instrument that is either a really, really old school instrument, or they're playing on an instrument that's of lower quality. Just because it's an instrument doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play all the notes all the time, or it's going to be a good instrument to learn on. So what we are going to do is donate a quality student model instrument to them for them to be able to use all through their high school career as well. So they get to keep it all through high school. And we worked with the middle school orchestra and band teachers to nominate students. So we have 4 students nominated right now, 2 over at Woodland Middle School and 2 at Heron Creek. And they will be getting their instruments the week before winter break. So not next week, the week after.
Fantastic. So can you talk a little bit about the student scholarship side? We talked about the instruments. We talked about the city of Northport really stepping up for the petting zoo. Can you talk about the support that you're getting from the Gulf Coast Foundation or the Community Foundation?
Yes. So the Gulf Coast Community Foundation gave us a grant, which is one in itself a really big deal. The Gulf Coast Community Foundation generally doesn't give grants to organizations that are less than 2 years old. They gave us a grant at 100 days old. Yes. And their biggest reason for it was because we're here for education for the kids. It's for the arts. And their next biggest reason, because we're in Northport. And they wanted to support Northport. So we did get a grant from them. And thanks to that grant, we were able to provide 3 high school students at Northport High School with private lesson scholarships. Each of them, it gives them about 20 weeks worth of private lessons for that scholarship. So we're looking at refreshing that scholarship amount so that way they can continue those lessons afterwards. Because right now they've only got it for about 6 months. So we're really hoping that we can keep that fund going, but it's a great start to this. And I wouldn't have been able to take lessons without getting scholarships when I was a kid their age. So for me to be able to give 3 kids that back right away is really near and dear to me. And I'm hoping that we can build it as we go.
Fantastic. You've got some major events coming up. Pat, do you want to talk about what's happening on December 11th?
Well, that would be a comedy show, and that was with Mike Marino, who is known as the bad boy of comedy in New Jersey. He has a really sharp wit. He talks about everything that relates to us, everyday life.
Yeah.
And he keeps it clean. It's okay for kids. It's wonderful for parents. And the fact that he is willing to come to Northport, he likes being involved in charity. He's passionate about making sure that he helps communities. And somebody who has been awarded as many. I mean, I'm just in awe of him. That's all I can say. He's awesome. And I can just say that it's going to be at the Northport High School at the Performing Arts Center on December 11. The tickets are very affordable, $35 plus a few fees. And what is awesome is he is giving money back to 3 different community organizations. One is the Northport Meals on Wheels, the Englewood Chambers Storm Center to help with hurricane relief, and the Youth Musical Arts Academy. So he's going to donate a portion of every single ticket to all of us.
Fantastic. And I threw a picture up on the screen so that people could recognize who he is. He's got a Facebook page. He's out there and he's relevant. Mike Marino is New Jersey's bad boy of comedy. And that, can you give the time and the date again and how to buy tickets?
It is going to be at the Northport Performing Arts Center on Tuesday, December 11.
Wednesday.
If you would,
Wednesday.
thank you, Michael. You
Sorry.
know, no, don't be sorry. I'm retired. That's the reason I have a calendar. It's one of those things. I mean, everybody gets it. Well, those of us who are older get it actually. But it's going to be on Wednesday. It's going to start with a block party at 5 p.m. The show starts at 7. Tickets are available through Eventbrite, which is Event. Brite is Brite. And if you were going to go to eventbrite.com and you type in Mike Marino, or you just search for Northport events, it'll come up and you can go ahead and buy tickets online.
That's really cool that one, we're bringing in a comedian to the place that my son went. Michael, I think you've heard of John, but I don't know. Did you meet Little John?
Yes,
Awesome.
I was there at the same time he was.
Awesome. I was trying to remember back to our conversation, but there's been so many kids who have come through the theater program and the instrumental programs at the high school. There's a direct connection with the arts facility itself at the high school. Dr. Kenny did an amazing job back in the day with everything that he did with supporting the arts and wrapping his arms around those. So we actually missed those days with Dr. Kenny because he kind of exposed the arts side of the school in a totally different platform, which was awesome. But it's kind of nice to see that we're getting some fun-loving, family-friendly comedians coming in town. And we have 90,000 plus citizens in this town. We should be able to fill that auditorium and sell some tickets. So how many tickets are left?
That's a great question. I would
say buy your ticket today.
So, but I will say another really special thing about the 11th, the Youth Musical Arts Academy Youth Choir will be making their debut performance on that night as well. Fantastic. So come a little bit early at around 6:30, and you get to hear them sing in the lobby.
You know what's really cool about this, though? We have a comedian, and he's put it on his calendar for Northport, Florida, Northport High School. Is that like, for his level of being a comedian, have we ever had a comedian at this level come to our school?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. First. And it's awesome.
That's fantastic. So I wish you guys well. And I hope the biggest thing is I can ask everyone who's listening and who watches this, please share this with as many people out there, because getting this information out into the citizens' hands is the most important thing that we as participants of the show can do, because we all know the hardest thing to do in the city of Northport is get information. As long as we're neighborly and we're all sharing the information, as we should with all of our friends and family members and citizens, the more money that's raised, it actually takes the pressure off of you, the academy, but it also puts a different spin on things when people participate too, because there's some engagement there along the way. So it's not like you're asking people to just write a check. You're actually asking them to write a check and come enjoy the night. So there's an exchange here that if people get used to supporting shows and doing things like that, there's not as much, hey, can you just donate? So the more you participate, the better off we are. I can say that across the board in any organization that is here in Northport or surrounding areas. We all must learn how to support local by supporting local. I don't know why that's so difficult. Support local by supporting local, but please share the content. It's the most important thing you could do to help them out. Do we have one other date on September 14th, and that's the big drawing. So I'm going to throw this right back at Pat for a second and really let you finish with this. And as terrific as you look on camera, Pat, I had to give you a shout out.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna bring you up on screen. Here we go.
So I actually do have a question for you, John.
Sure.
Because we have reserved one ticket, which we'd be happy to give to all of your followers. If there's a way that you can figure out how to get it there so somebody can get one ticket, which right now is, I don't think it's going to be a 1 in 300 chance. I think the odds are going to be a whole lot better than that. And
I tell you what, we've got 4 people watching right now.
Okay.
I'm going to call this out. I'm going to put names in a hat. If you put your name in the hat right now because you're watching, at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm going to pull the name. So if you're watching right now and you want a chance to get the ticket, all you got to do is comment, I want a chance to get the ticket. If you don't, I'm going to pick somebody and they're going to feel awesome.
And that's fine because we want to have as many people participating as possible, and it's much appreciated.
Fantastic.
We're looking to make sure that we get enough raffle tickets sold, and anybody who's, you're on the bottom of the screen, it's call me because I will be more than happy to take your money.
Yep.
My husband says it's a girl thing.
I don't know. I've been getting phone calls. I'm a horse all day, so I've been getting phone calls. I might have to bring you over and let you talk for me.
Okay, I can do that. I'd be happy to do it. So thank you so much, John.
Awesome. So we have Ginger Miranda. Thank you so much for being an avid supporter, Ginger. And she wrote her name down, and she definitely wants a chance to get the ticket. Anybody else who's watching or who engages by 9 o'clock tonight, if I'm still awake, I'm going to draw the names. No, I'm going to be awake. I'm joking. So it's all good. I'm going to remove you from the main stage now and bring us all back. But the biggest thing is share this content, help this organization out. It's a great organization. It's a great way to show your support to the youth of our community and surrounding areas, because we're not just doing Northport kids. Am I correct?
That's correct. It's anyone that's in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael, you're doing a fantastic job, Pat. I'm glad you're there to keep Michael in check. No, I'm teasing, and Michael's smiling. I can already tell, but it's great to see you guys, the camaraderie that you have, the focus on the youth and the drive and the commitment. Michael, I love what you're doing. I think it's a great thing. And I look forward to having many more opportunities to talk with you.
Okay. Thank you so much for having us.
And
John,
Pat,
thanks.
Pat, go ahead one more time.
No, I was saying thank you.
Yes.
It is awesome chatting with you.
And by the way, give your phone number out one more time.
It's 517-262-8313. I think I'm one of the few people out there who always answers their phone with my name which I have found that if it's a solicitor and I say Pat Beffel Jr. speaking, if it's a solicitor, they just hang up because they got a wrong number or something. But quite frankly, if somebody calls and it's for a raffle ticket and I say it's my name, then they'll know that they got the right number, which is good.
The right number. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, call that number today. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can always stop the video and watch it back to get the number. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. We've gone on for about 30 minutes now.
Wow.
And it just flies when you're having fun.
It does. And I appreciate it.
Not a problem. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys so much, and God bless you guys, and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Thanks, Mike.